Hi sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah, the rocking chair stitcher. This is Flosstube number 20 and I am super excited to bring you a little life update and to bring you a stitching update, which is why we're all really here. It's been about 4 months since my last Flosstube and I wanted to start off with a massive thank you to everyone who watched the Flosstubes, followed on Instagram, supported all the posts we put out, etc., all about our adoption fundraiser. The Family Threads book was a huge success because of this community. Myself and my husband Josh were both blown away by how much this community came together. I'm in this community more, so I knew that you guys would show up, but you were a huge blessing to us. So thank you for that. And again, a big heartfelt thank you to everyone who designed a pattern and contributed to the pattern booklet. The pattern booklet, I've been asked a little bit, is no longer for sale. It was a fundraiser for our adoption process to bring our next child into our family. We have one child previous to this process. And so we have now brought our little girl home. So most of her information we're not going to share online, of course, for privacy and etc. But we have a toddler, little girl. She is a sunburst of personality, energy. Like, she just goes all the time, which is so fun. She chatters, and if she's not chattering, she's singing. And you might be asking how Justin is doing. He is obsessed with his sister. We're about a month into her being home full time now. We spent the fall from mid-November through end of December doing lots of visits and transitioning and meeting her and just getting adjusted back and forth. You know, we're total strangers to all of a sudden being mama and papa, so it's a lot of change. But it is going really well. There's hard things, and if you know anything about adoption, or have talked with anyone, or if you've been adopted or adopted yourself, you know that adoption is beautiful, but it's also grief and loss. And so we're navigating that. And I never want to sugarcoat it and make it sound like it's perfect. You know, she's grieving. It's a big change. It's a lot of loss. It's a lot of gain of a beautiful family that's for forever, but it's also a lot of loss and change, right? So we're holding those things together. That seems to be the season of my life right now, is learning that you can hold both joy and grief at the same time. It doesn't mean life is bad, it's just you're holding both things. So anyway, that is kind of where things are at. She's an amazing little girl. We're still learning her, and it still blows our minds regularly that we have 2 children now, which we feel so very blessed. Yeah, so thank you to everyone in our community who, oh, my printer just went to sleep. For everyone in this community who has come together and supported us through that, whether you bought the booklet, shared the posts about the booklet, contributed to the booklet. Yeah, it means a whole lot. And because of you, it has made our transition time be that much smoother, being able to travel back and forth. And Josh is able to take a nice chunk of pat leave as well, which is really a blessing because learning how to have 2 kids at once is a lot. So I'm sure I will share more in the future. We'll just call her Miss K, as her name starts with K. Yeah, she's a delight and she's a gift. So we are over the moon. Yeah, so that is my life update. Justin is doing well. We are continuing to homeschool. He is continuing to be partially interested and partially much just wants to play, and that's, you know, kind of the nature of a 5-year-old, I think, but we're just trucking along through that. Josh is enjoying time at home with both kids and me and shoveling all the snow for us. We have a ton of snow. Well, relative, I guess. It depends on where you're at, how much snow you have. Maybe it's nothing, but it keeps piling up. We had a gap of warm weather like 2 weeks ago now, and I, in my silliness, thought maybe spring will come really early here. No, it is Ontario, Canada. But it's okay. For the most part, I'm just choosing to be thankful and really embracing hunkering down. And I'm glad that, going through the winter season this year, Josh is home, so it's nice to have another adult around all the time. I've ordered my garden seeds for the spring, and I've been doing a bit of stitching. I think the only thing I have stitched on, I will show you at the end, but the only thing I have stitched on is literally one thing in 2026. My life looks a lot different right now, and it's sweet and it's full. I am still stitching when I find little pockets of time at night when I don't have to get other things done, or when I'm not too tired to see it. I got a fair bit of stitching done since my last Flosstube. I think from looking at my last Flosstube notes, I think I've removed the duplicate that I had in my pile. I was going to show you again, and I realized I already showed you. But if it's a duplicate to last time, my apologies in advance. But I've got a nice little stack here. If I participated in a swap or received something and I don't show it here, I'm so sorry. My brain and tracking and remembering things like that is out the wazoo. Out the window right now. And then the other thing I will say is I, off the top of my head, don't have the names for my fabric or a lot of these patterns, but I thought, you know, putting a Flosstube out, I miss being on here. I miss chatting with you in the comments. I miss being active in the Flosstube world. And although I don't have all my P's and Q's lined up right now, I'm at least going to share with you where I'm at. And I wanted to share the update about our little Miss K. So all that chatter to say, let's just get on with it and I'll share with you what I have. So I have just a tiny little bit of haul. I found this frame at a thrift store for 50 cents, I think, when I was in London, Ontario for one of my son's appointments. Back this summer or this fall, I don't remember, so I may have showed this. So my plan for this is I am stitching one of the patterns from the Family Threads booklet, and for Justin, for his room. And my plan is to put it in here. I think it's just the right size. And then it can either hang on the wall or it has a nice little stand here. And Josh is going to be working on a shelf for Justin's room. And I thought, oh, that looks perfect for that. So that was a fun little find. It was brand new in packaging. I've already removed the packaging, but for 50 cents, I thought, oh, can't go wrong with that. I'm also realizing I'm in a new background once again. I always am moving around where I'm sitting. So I am in my new little office, which is a closet in our bedroom. So we've got some sensory items and stuff that are taking up all the space where our office used to be downstairs, which is great for the kids and helps them crash around and get some energy out while the long winter days here. So I am in my new little closet office. Maybe sometime I'll paint it and make it all pretty, but for now it's a quiet little spot. I have my fresh flowers from Costco. Just those special things, right? So my dad came up. That was an awesome thing that happened this fall. So he traveled up from the US and he brought me this sweet little zipper bag from a mission trip he went on. I'm trying to remember what country. He went to Peru on a mission trip this year, and I think this was from the year before. Could be wrong, but I think it was from Thailand. So I thought that was so cute. I'm going to put it in one of my project bags, I think. Sorry for the zipper. That's so pretty, right? So he brought that for me when he came. So I wanted to show you that. And then the last of my haul, which I may have shown you in September, but is a Mill Hill kit that I got for my birthday back in September. So it may have been on my last Flosstube. So this one is Buttons and Beads Winter Series Christmas Village, and it's the Cobbler's House. So I haven't started it yet, but it's so pretty. I don't know if I'll do the whole series or not, but I thought, oh, I like that one. And it's wintry enough that it's not really Christmassy. There's wreaths, but it's not too much. So that's my haul. I thought I would also show you a few patterns that are love or Valentine's themed. If you're looking for that kind of pattern right now in my Etsy shop, I'm going to put these 3 patterns on a little Valentine's sale between now, because I believe today is February 1st, I think, through Valentine's Day, which this year we're celebrating Tet, which is Lunar New Year. Our son is Vietnamese, so we celebrate Lunar New Year every year. So we'll be celebrating Tet on Valentine's this year because we're celebrating on the weekend ahead of time when some friends can come and join us. So our Valentine's is extra special this year. But if you were looking for some Valentine's stitching, I wanted to show you the 3 I have. The first 2 are done up in little pillows. Your dynamite. And I thought these were just so fun. I Llama You. So these are patterns that will be on sale in my Etsy shop, and I'll put a little Valentine's special. And I also have this one, which I want to do a giveaway for. So this is a quote by, I don't know how to say the last name, or the name, Herman Hesse. So if you know, I apologize for butchering it. But it says, if I know what love is, it is because of you. And then I customized it with Josh and I's initials. Josh is my husband, if you're new to the channel. So this was, is probably one of my favorite patterns I've ever designed. And it's a pretty quick stitch up, and I can't tell from filming this whether the words will be backwards or not, but it was an exercise in getting away from symmetry, because I like things to be really symmetrical, and in designing it's hard for my brain to break out of that. So usually I would have, if I had a motif here, I would have it mirrored over here. It was an exercise in let's get creative and work out of that box. And I actually love how it turned out. So it is available in my Etsy shop. But what I want to do is I want to give away a PDF copy of this, so you'll get a digital download. And I would be so excited to send it to you. So let's use the word, let's keep it simple. Let's use the word love. Don't say giveaway, that kind of stuff. We'll keep the bots away. So leave a comment down below with the word love in it if you would like a chance to win this. And I'm hoping to be back more frequently with my floss tubes, and I will do a drawing for this pattern. And if you already have this pattern and you win it, then you can pick a different pattern in my shop to receive instead. So I hope you'll put the word love down below, and yeah, get a chance to win that pattern. So that one sits on my dresser. So I will show you some finishes I have. So back sometime this year, I don't remember when, Sarah of Sew Me Sarah sent me a sweet package with some fun books and little stuffies that matched the books for Justin that her daughter Charlotte had really enjoyed. We share a sistership in that we both have a child with Down syndrome, and that's a cool bond. Anytime you meet another parent with a kiddo who has the same diagnosis as your kiddo, my experience has been, it's pretty much an instant bond. So that was really sweet to receive from Sarah. I think I shared it at some point this summer, and she sent me the Glitter Village patterns that she had finished, and so she sent all of them to me, and I finished one, not fully finished, but nothing today is fully finished. But I am excited to show you. So the first one I did was Glitter House number 7. It's quite a glare. Let's see here. It's Glitter House number 7. I was tempted to do them in order, but I wasn't sure if I was going to end up doing some on one big piece of fabric and moving stuff around and getting stuff figured out. I didn't know if I would have enough fabric to do all of them together. So I started with one I liked that I could just do as an individual ornament. And now I'm realizing I pulled the wrong paper to show you the second one, but you'll just have to imagine. But okay, so this is Glitter House number 7. So I am using, trying to remember, I think it's Weeks Dye Works that the pattern calls. I'm just gonna take a peek here. I don't want to show the pattern. Classic Colorworks. So I'm using Classic Colorworks for everything, I think, except for it calls for a white one that Sarah was saying it didn't really show up like very much different, like the variegation. So I'm just using like a plain DMC white alternative. And then I missed picking up one. So my closest stitch store is like an hour, and then I usually have my son with me, and it's just hard to get in there. So for my season of life, so I missed picking up one, but I can't remember which color it is. So I'm missing one of these, and I've subbed it with something DMC. But everything else is the called for, and I love how it turned out. The only thing I would say is with this color fabric, which I just tend to work from my scraps of fabric that I have left over from other projects, it's really hard to see the white. So it's really hard to see the snowflakes. So this is a one-off. I'm not going to do more on this fabric because I do want to show off that pretty snow, because the detailing is really beautiful. So this one is complete, and I think I'm going to finish it as a little ornament. And I haven't decided yet whether it will be a gift. So I'm trying to stitch an ornament for each of my siblings for Christmas, and then maybe for all the nieces and nephews, but whew, we will see. I was trying to do it for Christmas this year, and then we got matched with Miss K. So if you hear squawks in the background, that is part of her communication style right now, is squawking like a bird. So Josh is with her. She's safe. She's happy. But just so you know, that may be what you hear in the background. But yeah, so I was trying to stitch them all for Christmas, and then once we got matched, and then it was a whirlwind of appointments, like with social workers, and starting to visit her, and then going overnight and staying for the weekend and those kind of things. So very quickly my stitching got set aside. I have a couple of ornaments that I've stitched and need to finish, and that maybe those will be ready for Christmas 2026. So I'm ahead of the game, if we want to look at it that way. So this will likely either be on my tree or it will be gifted to someone. But super loving these patterns. They're just fun, like just fun pops of color. I love the tree. So anyway, that's Glitter House number 7. So I can't remember which number the next one is. Oh, but it's not in my finishes because it's a whip. So I will wait and I'll show you that in a minute. So thank you, Sarah, for those patterns again. I'm really enjoying stitching them. This is a really sweet pattern that Josh picked out. I will put down in the description what the pattern is and who it's by, and if it's in an Etsy shop, which I think it was, I will link that all there. So if you want to stitch it, you can. So little Miss K has a wealth of dark curly hair, and it is just beautiful, and it just springs and bobs everywhere. So I stitched Justin a Christmas ornament this year, and my hope is to stitch our kids an ornament each year, so that, you know, when they're older, they have their own tree or whatever, they have all their own special ornaments. But so I thought, oh, I want to stitch her one, even though she wasn't with us for the holidays yet. And Josh picked this pattern. And although I can't show her photo for privacy reasons, this is pretty much Miss K in a lot of ways. So, you know, when Josh and I were looking for, let me see if I can hold something up behind this. Just have a board here for a puzzle. There we go. When Josh saw it, he was like, that one's it. So I'm still trying to convince Josh to start stitching with me. I think eventually he will, but yeah, so I just thought that's so sweet. So I will finish that into a little, if you follow me on Instagram, a couple years ago, I did a bunch of my ornaments finished like a tassel finish where you kind of pick the threads. So I think I'll likely do that again. But maybe I'll put it in around, I don't know, I haven't really decided. It's a little larger, right? Like that's inside my hand, so it is a bit larger, but Justin inspected it as he usually does. He always takes it and gets real close and touches it. Sometimes he gives it a lick or a kiss. He's very oral, sensory seeking. And he loved this one. So he really loves his sister. So it's a whole new special thing of seeing the one child you already have love the other child. And she loves him. They don't like sharing their toys with each other, but I assume that's pretty normal and is only going to get worse. But they really do have a special bond, which has been such a cool gift. So this is our little Miss K, and this is the ornament I stitched for her. I think I put the last few stitches in, I think I finished it in 2025. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully it'll be finished for Christmas this year. So that is my second finish. This one is just a little pattern I designed called Let's Go Thrifting. So I have a good girlfriend who, she thrifts my clothes for me pretty much. So she just has an eye for like good brands at good deals. She has an eye for styling. And it started with me running into her. We were already friends, but I ran into her in the thrift store, I don't know, winter or spring of last year. And I was like, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I'm trying to find some shirts or something. I don't remember. I do not like clothing shopping. Craft supply shopping? Yes, all the time. That would, if I could, I would. But I hate clothing shopping. And so she said, here, go in the change room. I'm bringing you stuff. And so she became my personal stylist is how we joke about it. So she will just video call me and say, hey, I found these 5 shirts. Do you like them? These are your size, blah, blah, blah. So she picks my clothes out for me now pretty much. So I stitched this for her birthday, and I still have not framed it and gotten it to her, and her birthday's long past, but it's just going to show up maybe as a little gal pal Valentine's gift or something. But this is not in my Etsy shop yet, but hopefully I can just get the chart finished up and then pop it in my shop. But so a little Let's Go Thrifting is my next finish. So this one, I looked back in my notes on my last Flosstube, and I don't think I showed it. I think it's from a Just Cross Stitch magazine. I will look and see if I can find the details. So I think it's called Sophie Mouse, but I'm not 100%. So I stitched this for one of my nieces in hopes of sending it to her as an ornament this past Christmas, but I didn't get her fully finished. But I just thought she was so cute. So my plan is to finish her up, and then I will do her siblings' ornaments, and then I will give them those for Christmas this year is the hope. So this is, I think, Sophie Mouse or something like that is her name. She's just so cute. And I'm always surprised by some of these small stitches, how much stitching is in a pattern this small. Like, she's that little, like itty bitty, but there's so much detail. And I think because there's a fair bit of color changes, you know, to get the coloring and variations and stuff. Like just up in her bow, there's 2 or 3 different color purples there. So I think she's so cute. I believe it's in Just Cross Stitch or Cross Stitch magazine. I bet some of you watching probably actually have seen these a million times, because there's several of these little mice patterns or mouse patterns in one of the Cross Stitch magazines doing different things and different seasons and outfits and stuff. So you probably know who that is. I don't think it's Dorian Jones, although there's a fair bit of back stitch. But anyway, I'll put the details down below, but I thought she was so cute. And I think I've changed some of her colors, because with this kind of pattern, when I'm not model stitching, I tend to pull from stash over going and just buying more floss, because I have so many colors. And when it's just for a little gift like this, I don't worry too much about it being perfect color match. 8 times out of 10, I would say. This one, again, I don't know who the pattern is by, but he was just so cute. So we live in Canada. If you're new to my channel, we live in Ontario. We've lived a few places here. We lived in Nova Scotia, and now we live back in Ontario again near family, and I have yet to see a moose. And I've been here since, it's 2026. I've been here since 2013, I think it was. You would think I've seen a dead moose. That's my only experience with that, and I touched his nose. But no, my dream would be to in person, not on a movie, not at a zoo. I want to see a real moose. So this is close to I'm getting, and now I'm looking at this. This may actually be a reindeer. We're calling it a moose. It's a moose. It's a Santa moose. So anyway, this was for, I was supposed to be doing Stitching Owl. You can tell me what it was. I can't remember. I had said, oh, I want to do the ornaments, like 25 ornaments or something last year with Susan, and my brain is saying it was Amy of Renewing Stitches. And last year got away from me, and keeping up with info and who I was doing what with, I was not very good at. So my apologies for that. But I did do some ornaments. So that's what he was for, was one of those. So he'll go into my stash of, I've got a bunch of full finishing to do to have ornaments for Christmas. But so here's Mr. Moose, or Reindeer, whatever I want to call him. And then this one. So if you love Christmas movies, you probably already know this quote. There's a little something on there. So this is from the Christmas movie Elf with Will Ferrell. Fun fact, it's the only movie I've ever seen with Will Ferrell in it. And it was in my mind, it's a cult classic. I don't know if it actually would fit in that category or not, but it was a instant hit in my childhood or teen years whenever it came out with me and my siblings. There's 7 of us, and by the time I was in my teens, there were 6 of us still at home, and we would all watch a movie together, and we'd all memorize like different portions, and it would become banter in our house. So movie lines are like a love language between myself and my siblings. So I don't think I still have it here. I put it away, I think, because I'd already shown it last time. But I had one last time in September. I showed an ornament I stitched that was "Keep the Change, You Filthy Animal," which is from Home Alone, which was a very big favorite in our household. And then "Cotton-Headed Ninny Muggins" is one of my favorite lines from Elf. So when I found this pattern, I was like, oh, I have to stitch that for one of my siblings. So again, this will be part of my stash of ornaments to gift to each sibling this Christmas. So that is it for finishes. I now have a couple of whips that I've been working on for quite some time. This is my Soul Finds Rest in God Alone. I think it's called My Soul Finds Rest, and it's by A New Creation Studio. And I think I've been working on this 2 years now. So this is for a sweet friend. She was a roommate in Bible college. Goodness, over a decade ago now. So it is such a beautiful pattern. I've continued up this side. I started here and have kind of worked my way around. I think I did the font first. It is such a beautiful pattern, and A New Creation Studio has so many beautiful patterns. So I would love to stitch more at some point, but this one continues to be one of my favorites, just how beautiful it is. And I think it will make a really sweet gift to my my sweet friend whenever I get it finished. So I know she will really enjoy that. She has an office job, so she might put it on her desk or something at work. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. So that one's really been fun to continue to stitch. And then I have been stitching on just a little bit, not a massive amount, on Martha Sampler. So backstory of this one is, if you've been here for a while, you've seen it for a while. This is a cross-stitch rendition of a stitching sampler done by Josh's grandma, and it was completed in 1948, I think. So she was stitching on it likely through the war, through World War II. She lived in Holland while it was occupied, and she's now passed a few years ago. And when I came into the family, she just was so encouraging to me as also an immigrant. Yeah, we miss Grandma a lot, and her spunky personality. And so yeah, this was her sampler that likely she was doing. I think the story is she was doing it when she was technically in high school age years. I don't know if she was still in school or at home or not, but and it would have been to show off her different abilities of different kinds of stitching. Sorry, it's got the hoop ring still. So I'm doing the fun bands down below and the imagery here. This is like this beautiful like candelabra kind of thing. And it's a lot of light stitching through here, and there's some more fill-in still to go. So I've been working on that, I would say, mostly since I've seen you guys last. And then I think I still have some work to do on the saddle, like the farmer here with his horse and the saddle. And there's like windmill turbines, or the whatever the pieces are called on a windmill. And I think there's some fill in the blank here of the space. So there's still a fair bit more to go here. And then there's a whole bunch of more bands like here at the bottom that go up the top. So for reference, my mother-in-law has the original now, and it's framed, and it's probably 1.5 to 2 feet wide, and it's probably 3 or 4 feet tall. It's massive. But it was all kinds of different kinds of stitching as well. It wasn't just cross stitch. There is cross stitch in the original. But because I don't know all those specialty stitches, I asked her if I could chart it up. And I stuck as closely to the original colors as I could because my husband grew up seeing this. And so I wanted him to have a version in our home that looked like the one that Grandma always had. So, miss you, Grandma. And I love stitching on this as just a little I love you moment, because she was a precious lady. Her name was Martha Beisterveld. She's pretty cool. So, continuing to work on Martha Sampler. That pattern is in my Etsy shop. There is someone, and I'm so sorry because my brain is blank, who is stitching it in all blue, like a variegated blue, and it will come to me who is stitching it. because I haven't watched much Flosstube lately either. There's not been a lot of time to watch anything. Oh, okay, well, it's left me now. But anyway, she's stitching it in blue, and the last time I saw the updates on it, it was looking really pretty, and she was starting from top down, and using variegated floss in blue, so it, you know, it changed the look a bit, and it was really cool to see, which is cool because when I posted the pattern for sale on my Etsy shop, I had recommended if somebody ever wanted to do it in blues, it would kind of be a nod to the Dutch Delft blue look that you see on dishes and things like that. That's so traditional. So anyway, that has gotten a bit of love. And if you want to join me in stitching that, I'm going to be stitching it for the rest of my life, likely, because I'm pretty slow at that. But so you have plenty of time to catch up and join me stitching that if you'd like. So Martha's Sampler in my shop if you want to stitch that. I'm just picking off the cat hair that has decided to, I must have left this out on the couch or on the bed. My cat loves to sit on whatever I'm working on if I set it down. So this is probably my first ever big project. And I want to do a whip parade at some point, but I know that Justin's going to wake up soon, and Josh has his hands full when they're both up. So I want to be gracious to him to not take too long. But I'll do a whip parade another day. This is 100 Owls by owlforestembroidery, and I started this, I think it was 2 years ago on one of my birthdays. And since I've seen you last, I did work down here on this tree, and I've completed the tree. I'm just going to be straight up because I love symmetry. It drove me nuts that these two birds are slightly different from each other. Still annoys me, but at the same time, I'm like, it's character. It's okay to let go of symmetry. And if I remember right, these guys up here are like perfectly symmetrical, so it's okay. But this one is still really fun to work on. I'm trying to hold it up here. I think the reason I didn't finish with him before moving on, unless it was just distractedness, I believe was I'm missing some key colors here, and I wanted to pick them up and not substitute with what I already had. So I'm thinking that's why he's not completed. But the wreath was fun to do. And this was actually a lot of fun because it was super satisfying. I'd pop in a couple of owls at a time. So it just felt like I was really making some big progress. So this is, for anyone not super familiar with the pattern, it is kind of the center that goes down the middle of the pattern, and then there's owls all around on either side. And then these two guys up here are kind of the top of the pattern. So I'm still loving this pattern. Still loving the stitch. I love the fabric. I don't think I have the fabric name still on here. Maybe one day I'll be organized and I'll safety pin the little fabric details to it, but probably not. Okay, so this is the first pattern I'm stitching from the Family Threads pattern booklet. Some of the designers, I haven't double checked everybody because again, I've not been online a ton, but when I was chatting with them and let them know we could close down the Family Threads fundraiser because we had the funds we needed and we didn't want to keep fundraising when we were at that goal. Some of them are going to put them in their pattern in their shop. I'm not sure if everyone already has, but so that's up to each designer what they want to do. I believe mine is up at my shop, but I'll have to double check. But this one is, again, can't tell you the name of who did the design. Oh my goodness. And I chatted with them how many times to set up the booklet and everything. Sorry. I'm so sorry. It'll be in the description. But this one is super, super close. When she came into the chat and shared about her pattern, when we were sharing updates of everybody was sharing what they were going to contribute, I thought, oh, I want to stitch this one first, because every night with our son, and now we do it with Miss K as well, but every night with our son since we brought him home, we have said, you are wanted, you are chosen, you are loved, you are adopted, you're our boy Justin, and we love you. And so this one just really resonated with me. And so this is what I'm stitching for Justin's room. That's gonna go, oh, I can't hold them both up to it. I think once I trim off the extra fabric, I think it's gonna fit. It's gonna be a close call, but we will see. If not, I'll find like a wooden oval frame or something. And I would like to next stitch this as well for our daughter's room as well, and do it in the pinks that she called for. So I changed the colors because Justin's room is more blues, because he has like kind of an underwater theme in his bedroom. So I wanted this to kind of go with that. So I haven't picked it back up in a little bit, but this was the start I got on it. And I will put the information down for that pattern in there. I'm not sure if she's listed it in her Etsy shop or not. But yeah, any of the designers who were in the Family Threads book, I will check their Etsys, and if they have listed their patterns, I will then link that in the description. I'm going to make myself a note. So link designers. So that way, if you were wanting to get the Family Threads book, it is no longer available, unfortunately, but if they've listed their pattern that you wanted to stitch from the booklet, you can just go to the direct designer for it. So, all right, I made myself a note because otherwise, as you can tell, my memory is down the drain these days. So this is my next whip, which now I'm wondering if I did have the right picture for. No, this is another one of the Glitter Village houses. So this is the second one I'm starting. So I found a swath of fabric. It's just kind of raggedy, but then I'm going to stitch as many of them side by side as I can. And I was too tired when I picked the fabric to even see how many would fit there. So I'm just going to stitch until it fills full. And then there'll just be a row of the Glitter Villages that'll fit. And then my plan will be to frame that and put it up in my house for winter time, because I love to decorate seasonally, and I am on the struggle bus. Let's see here. See if that works. So this is the next one I'm stitching by Glitter Village, one of the Glitter Villages. But I brought the wrong pattern with me to show you the name of it, I think. Clunk, clunk, clunk over here. Sorry. Hope you don't have headphones on. Yeah, I brought you Glitter House 4 because it's pink, and that's not right. So I don't remember what the name of this one is. But I've got some more progress. So I like this fabric better. And this just came from Stash, and I don't always keep things very labeled. But I feel like you can see the white so much better for the snow, which was my one regret about the last one, because like, I mean, see the difference. You can see the white for the snow, but it's very faint, versus here you can really, really catch it. So because there is a fair bit of white in these patterns because it's snowy scenes, and then a lot of them have white trim, if not all of them. So I thought, you know, I think I need to find a little bit darker fabric. So my goal, I think I can probably fit 4, if not 5 of the Glitter Village houses here. So I'm picking and choosing the ones I think look prettiest together. And then I will stitch that as like a little village, basically. So I don't know if I've ever actually seen all of them completed together. So I don't know. I'm trying to remember now, back to Sarah's video when she was sharing them, if she did them separately or together. I have to go back and look. So I'm excited to stitch them in a little row. And then my last whip, I made myself a note so I could actually remember people's names. Now if I can find the note. That's the question. There it is. Okay, so my last one is a little bit different for me from what I've usually participated in. We are doing I guess it's called a round robin. We're calling ourselves the Rockin' Robins. And if you follow any of the other other ladies participating in this, you have probably already heard about our round robin. Oh, I don't know if you can hear the squawking or not. So for the round robin participating it, I have my notes. I am participating, and then Karen the Stitching Owl, Darlene from Darlene Dion Designs, Lisa of Forest City Stitching, and then Kathy of Kathy's Quilts and Stitching. We're all Flosstubers. Or all on Instagram if you want to follow any of these other wonderful Flosstubers. So what we are doing the Flosstube Friends pattern, and this is my start. So I started about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think. 3 weeks maybe. So I'm doing pretty good, I think. So if you're not familiar with the pattern, it's a big long rectangle, and then there are 5 ladies, and they're all showing off their cross stitching or quilting projects. And down here it says Flosstube Friends. Super pretty pattern. And the ladies are all dressed differently with hats, and their dress designs are different, and what they're holding is different. So I am super excited because how the round robin is working is each person participating stitches the border and then stitches the first lady. And then I believe it was Lisa who made up the chart. So basically throughout the year we get so many months to work on our border and our lady, and then we have somebody on the chart that we are assigned to send our stitch to. If you know how round robins work, you're probably like, I already know this, but this is all new to me. But basically I'll receive somebody else's that has done the border and the first lady, and I'll stitch the next lady, and then I send it on to the next person assigned. So by the end of it, I'll stitch each lady one time, and I'll get my original stitch back to me. And then I'll either frame it or make it a pillow. I haven't decided yet. I'm kind of tempted to decorate. I'm trying to keep my planner block there with private info, just so it's not on the internet. But I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll decorate this little closet as like my little cross stitch hobbit hole, because then I can just cover the walls of my cross stitch. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, so by the end of it all, we'll get our original stitch that we started back. And we've agreed that you can do what you want as far as called for, or whatever floss you choose. And I think we stuck to 20 count as the smallest stitch count, I think it was. So this is an 18 count, I think. I do have a note of this somewhere. And I'm following a paper pattern. Yeah, I think that's kind of all the details I have on it right now. I'm really enjoying it. I found this is working out quite fast, and the 20 count I can see really well at night, because I'm usually not sitting down to stitch till about 9:30, and then, you know, we're going to bed an hour to 2 hours later depending on the night. So I just got her hat in started. I need to do the band in there, but I just started the first lady's hat and got this finished yesterday with this band border here. And then, because I was doing down here and I got distracted and thought, oh, I want to go up top. So it's working out quite fast. I'm really pleased with it. So I think I'll be able to keep up. I think the first time we allotted, because it's the border and the first lady, is like 3 months, and then we send it on. And then I think after that, maybe it's 2 months. I don't remember. Something like that. I'm sure someone will keep me on track. So I'm really enjoying stitching it, and that's like my big stitch for this year. I mean, as most of us do, have so many whips. Someone asked me the other day, who's not really active cross stitcher, which I'm trying to get them back into cross stitching, but they asked me, like, do you still have like 20 plus projects? I'm like, yeah, probably more. I haven't even bothered counting. I don't know. But yeah, so there's so many whips I haven't touched that I would love to see again. But I do know myself, and as much as I love the idea of Whip Go and all those other different games and stuff, which I think are so fun, like the idea of this season of life, that's not it. So my goal is to stay up with my Flosstube friend stitching so that I can actively participate in the round robin, because I think that's such a fun opportunity to get to know other stitchers and to have something touched by other people. I've always wanted to go to like a quilting bee, but I don't really know how to quilt. Maybe one day. But I love the idea of taking the hobby and the craft and the thing we enjoy and working at it together, even if we're not doing it in person in this situation, or passing it around. But just the fact that this work will have many hands have touched it, that I love community, and I love that idea that, you know, our hobby and our interest is bringing us together versus something that just isolates us. So I am enjoying that stitch more than I thought I would, actually, from the pattern. I joined mostly just for the community aspect, but the pattern's cute. I'm actually really enjoying the pattern as well, which is fun. Yeah, so that's kind of all my stitching. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to share right now. I'm going into 2026 with minimal expectations of my stitching hobby and just enjoying it when I get time. You know, of course, my family is my highest priority right now, as it should be. And yeah, so there's not a ton of time for stitching, but I am hoping to come back more frequently. I have some design ideas in my head. And I have a few designs that I have been working on for one of them almost 2 years, and it's just not quite right yet. So I don't have any new patterns out to share with you other than the Let's Go Thrifting, but I really am hoping to get back into designing more in the future. And I may, depending on a request to a friend for model stitching, I may start popping up some more designs in the spring or this summer, but we will see what happens. I don't ever want to promise because I have no idea what will happen. But I just wanted to say thank you again. I'm already at 45 minutes, but thank you again for all of your support through our adoption process, and then all of the sweet messages and encouragement through the process. And then since we've shared little bits here and there on Instagram, we are so blessed by this community, and thank you for rejoicing with us. We give thanks to God because He was, in His sovereign plan, brought our little Miss K into our life, and He is good and faithful, and that was a good gift that He gave us, so we are rejoicing for that. And I'm rejoicing for cross stitching because it is nice and relaxing, and it's fun to get to do a little something for myself that I can just enjoy and unwind with. So I hope that your week or your month, until I see you next time, it won't be next week, is really lovely, and that you're getting through the winter months okay. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, enjoy that sunshine. I'm jealous. And I hope that you get to enjoy some stitching and get to enjoy some lovely time with beautiful people in your life. And I will see you again next time. Bye, friends.